Well, it's been a whole year and here we are again doing what is now a little tradition of this channel, which is taking a moment to look back at everything that I worked on for the past year. It was kind of a different year, I think. Life was a little busy and I worked on some bigger projects that made it so that it was more quality over quantity per se. I feel like I wanted to do a lot, and looking back, it is a lot, but not as much as maybe other years, and that's okay. I don't want to like judge myself by how much I can just make in a whole year, but more like what I'm spending my time on, if that makes sense. Anyway, all this to say, once you put it together though, it does look like a nice pile. Here it is. This is at least everything that I made that is still with me that I didn't gift or give away or something. Without much further ado, this is everything I made this year in chronological order. I gotta say I also have a bunch of unfinished projects that I'm gonna walk you through as well. Probably if you watched some of my other podcasts, you've seen me started talking about them. I did not finish them. I really wanted to wear one of the sweaters that I was working on for Christmas, and then I was if you've seen my stories, I was really working hard on it. I couldn't finish it. I couldn't like stay up all night doing it, mostly because my hands started to hurt, and that's when, you know, if you've seen my videos about hand pain, that's when I stop and I try to like take it easy and not force myself, because then it'll hurt so much then I won't be able to knit it all, and that's not a good thing. So I had to take it easier, and therefore I couldn't, you know, knit 6 hours straight, and I didn't finish it. But that's okay. That's okay. I will finish it and I will wear it anyway, and it'll be fine. Just not today. Back to the actual stuff that I did finish. I am gonna start back at the beginning of the year. The first thing that I finished this year, I actually don't even have it with me, and I did not take a picture, which, you know, great way to start off. But I mean, what happened was that it was a gift from my sister, and I gave it to her, and then I kind of forgot to take a picture of it, to take a picture of her with it. I don't know why. I just kind of like, you know, in the moment, and didn't think about it too much. So she has it, and I can ask her to take a picture. Maybe I'll add it, or if not, I'll add a picture of what the project looks like from the pattern. This was the Topiary Shawl, which is a pattern by Michelle Wong, and I actually used yarn from Knit Crate, so rip, Knit Crate is gone by now, but it was yarn called Knitology, I think it was their yarn, and so probably not available anymore. It was very soft yarn, a beautiful kind of shade of purplish pink, and I had just enough to make this shawl, which was more of like the scarf version, because I think there are several versions of this same shawl. I made like scarf one, and then there's like a lot bigger versions that I didn't have enough yarn for, so I just went with a scarf. I think it was a lot of cables and lace. I just remember that a lot of this shawl was knit actually early in the year when I caught COVID for the first time, and knock on wood, only time so far. I did wash it. It was COVID free by the time I finished it and gave it to her, but that's kind of the memory for me attached to it. It was like being sick and having this shawl to knit at least. So it was kind of nice to, you know, have something to take my mind off of feeling crappy. But yeah, I wish I'd taken a picture. I don't have it with me, so sorry about that. But yes, that was the first thing I finished, and I didn't finish until March, I think. So the reason for that is like most of the beginning of the year I spent knitting a blanket. And if you've been following me on social media or even my YouTube videos, you saw me talk about this blanket quite a lot. So I'm not gonna take a lot of time talking about it, but I'm gonna skip forward a little bit in the timeline to where I finished it, because for me this was the project that was so ever present at the beginning of the year, January, February, March. I think by the time I finished it was May. But yeah, this all started because it was the Pearl Soho knit along for the Prism Blanket, and I do have that one right here. My favorite blanket, so much so that I don't let anyone else use it. No, I'm joking. I do let my husband use it too, but you know, it is like the premium blanket that we have. It really, like, it's great for like sitting on the couch and when your feet start to get cold, put it over your lap, even when I'm working sometimes when it's cold, and I put it over my lap and it's like the right amount of warmth. I love this blanket. I spent, like I said, so much time working on it, and it was a very enjoyable project. I enjoy putting the colors together. It came as a kit. I think I selected the colors that they had suggested in the kit, but I made the decision on where to put each color, so that was fun. And it ended up so cute, such sweet colors. And I loved seeing what other people were doing with their Prism blankets. So yeah, this was my biggest project of the year, and it took almost half of the beginning of the year to finish it. So there are all those times, even like I said, when I was with COVID, I was also working on making a square or two for this blanket. It was nice because it's squares and you like kind of attach them as you go to the blanket. There isn't a lot of sewing involved. So you do kind of end up with a blanket as you're done, not a lot of ends to weave in. So that was nice. And again, this is the Prism Blanket, which is a pattern by Pearl Soho, and the yarn is also from Pearl Soho. It's the good wool and several colors. I think there are like 4 colors in here. I like I said, I picked one of their suggested kits. So yes, oh God, it smells so good. I love this blanket so much. By the time I finished that shawl and that blanket, it took me forever, and it was one of my main projects. I did start knitting after the first sweater of the year, which was actually a collaboration with Sorilla. She had this, I think it was also a knit along. I did a lot of knit alongs for some reason. And she sent me some of her new at the time collection yarn, and I love this pattern. And this is the Provant Sweater. I say Provence because that's like the French way of saying it. I can't just say Provence. Provant Sweater. And it's also, I think the colorway was also called Provence. It's kind of like a greenish, very light color. So the pattern is by Sorilla, and also it is her Suri lace yarn. I cannot tell you how buttery soft this yarn is. I never made a project that was like completely made out of this type of yarn. It is definitely more of a spring sweater. I don't really wear it in the winter as much. It was actually in storage. I took it out for this video because it is warm, but it's not like the warmest sweater you've ever worn. It's not as warm as the sweater I'm wearing right now, for example. It is perfect for the spring and for like the late fall, I guess. But the color is very springy. So yeah, it's a simple sweater, but there's something about it. It just the fit and the drape and the combination of the yarn that just works so well. So this I finished in May. So I think I also started earlier in the year, maybe March or somewhere around that time. So this was one of the big projects, and I really like it. I might actually wear it one of the warmer days in the winter because it's so soft and so nice. The next pattern that I worked on, by my calendar, I finished it in June. So I must have started it right around the time I finished the Provant Sweater. And this was another shawl. I kind of been really into shawls since I knit my first one the year before in 2022. And this is the Qara My Soul shawl. I think I mentioned it in one of my previous videos, but I never actually showed it. So it's nice that I can finally show it to you. I have been wearing this one so much, mostly as a scarf, and it is such a nice pattern. It's very elegant. I wouldn't say simple. No, it's elegant. It has like a nice detail here at the bottom. So like I said, the pattern is Qara My Soul by Melanie Berg, and I made this using yarn that I got from Rhinebeck in 2022 that I kind of planned on making this shawl with from the beginning. So it was nice to, you know, follow along my plans and stop being derailed by knit-alongs. So this was, I believe, Primrose Yarn Co. that I got in Sport Yarn. I have used this yarn before, and so when I went back to Rhinebeck, I was like, I need to get it. She has such beautiful colorways. So this was one of the ones that I got there, and yeah, I've been wearing this shawl a lot. It is very beautiful and very warm. I love the color on this one. I think I'm just like really into these like jewel, darker colors, especially like the mustard ones. I think I want to make more in this type of shades. The next project I worked at, you've probably seen me talk about a lot on Instagram, and I am so excited about having made this year because I think it just checked a lot of boxes for me. I wanted to make a Halloween pattern. I wanted to make it on time for Halloween, which I did. It was nice. And I also wanted to design a cardigan and wear more cardigans. So, I mean, so many like birds with one stone, really. And of course, I'm talking about the Spinster cardigan, which if you haven't seen, like I said, it's been everywhere. It's a simple cardigan. Oh, it's already a little pilly because I've used it so much. I need a little shape. But yeah, it's a simple cardigan with some details on color work. You know, Halloweeny kind of spidery, but I've been wearing it beyond Halloween. It was a pattern designed by me, so like I said, this was the pattern that I designed this year. I don't get a lot of time for designing anymore, so the fact that I even designed one pattern, it's kind of like a great exercise for me to keep that muscle, and also just, you know, doing a collaboration and just enjoying some new project, figuring it out and writing it and everything and testing it. So anyway, this one's available already in all my stores if you're interested in making something for Halloween. I finished it in August, but I think by the time I finished writing it and everything, it was closer to October, if not later in October. But it's available in all my stores. And yes, this is one, like I said, I wore from the moment it was cold enough to very recently. I think I just stopped wearing it during the holiday season because it didn't feel quite right. But it's like a classic enough pattern that it doesn't scream Halloween at you. But depending on how you style it, maybe it can. So it's a fun little cardigan, and yeah, I love the name, I love the pattern, and it was a fun one to make. Funny that I was making this during the summer, but you know, that's what you gotta do when you're designing something. And the yarn is Hobby Friends wool. I collaborated with them. They gifted me the yarn so I could make this pattern. And it's great because they are also selling this pattern in their website, which also allows you to buy the yarn kind of as a package, as a little kit, which is great. They do have a lot of sales going on all the time. So it was nice to just see my pattern in like a different environment and a different website. And so yeah, if you're interested in getting like a full kit for all the yarn for this pattern, you totally can on Hobby Yarn. Next up, in October I finished 2 projects, it's always exciting when kind of all the projects you're working on converge and they're finally done on time for the right weather. Doesn't always happen to me, but it happened this year. And I'm talking about the Ribblesdale Vest by Lily Kate France, the pattern. And you will notice that this vest is the exact same color as the sweater that I'm wearing right now, and it's because it is the same yarn. This is Barocco Vintage, I think in Current, something like that, the color is. I had like about a skein and a half left from when I knit this sweater, and I really wanted to make something else with it because I like the color, I like the yarn. And so I found this vest pattern, and everything was going well, but I thought I couldn't get away with using just the yarn that I had, but no, it turns out I needed at least another half a skein, I think. So I did end up buying it, and even though it was no longer the same color at all, because I made this years ago, I don't think you can tell. I forget if I used it in like the edges or how I did it, but you cannot tell. I don't think you can. And this is such a fun little vest. I've been trying to find cool ways of wearing it. It's kind of like a different thing. I don't really wear vests a lot. Well, now I do, I guess. But before, I didn't really wear a lot of vests. So it was a nice incentive to like try something new with my wardrobe. And also to use these cute little buttons, which I've had for such a long time. And I didn't know what to do with them. And I think they work great with this pattern. So yes, the Ribblesdale Vest is something that I've been thinking about making again, maybe in a different color. The other project that I finished in October was the Luna Tee. The designer is Carissa. Sorry if I didn't say that right. And this is a nice little tee, short sleeve tee. I use Pearl Soho Sweet Grass, which I believe is, I forget what the yarn content is. I think it's like a cotton and something else mix, but it does not have wool. And so might not have been the best selection because it's very doesn't quite hold the form as much, but it worked fine for this pattern. I think it looks very nice. I like the color too. I'm kind of getting more into neutrals lately, or at least knitting with neutrals. So it's a nice little tee. It is very thin. I think it's more of like a spring pattern, and by then it was getting cold, so I haven't been wearing this one a lot yet, but I do plan on doing it. And yeah, it was a nice little tee that I enjoy knitting and that I finished a little late in the year, but totally plan on making a lot of use later. And I have had this yarn in my stash for quite a while, so it was nice to find something to use it for. So that was everything I made that I still have with me. There are other things that I made that I gave, well, except I guess the first one that I mentioned, but there are a few other things that I made during the year, but that I gifted. And I do want to mention them, even though I can't show them to you, but at least I can put a picture on. So I made a Bride of Frankenstein wig. That was a crochet wig, actually, and I did not use a pattern. I kind of just made it up as I went. There's a little reel that I made about it, a little video. I do have that one, but it's with all my Halloween stuff, which is already in storage, so I can't show it to you. But I certainly have a lot of pictures. you can look at it. It was such a fun project and kind of last minute, and it worked great. So I hope to do more like just chaotic, random things like that. I also made a couple of gifts. I made the Willems overalls by Petite Knit, using also primrose yarn that I had left from other projects, and this was a gift to a friend who had a baby. And every time she sends me pictures of her baby wearing it, it's just like the best feeling, honestly. I also made a couple of cacti, which is a pattern called Woolly Cacti by Lucille Randall, and I just used gifted yarn that I had in my stash. It's like yarn from God knows where and when, but it's green and it had this texture that kind of worked for this plant idea that I had, and I gave a couple to a few people for Christmas. And funny enough, it's like I was watching the NPR Tiny Desk concert for Sweeney Todd, which again, obsession for this year, totally on brand for me. I was watching it, and you know how they have all this stuff all over their tiny desk, and there was two of these knitted cacti, this exact same pattern, I'm pretty sure, because I just made it, right? I saw them on the desk, obviously not the ones I made, someone else made them, but it was like a nice little, I don't know, Easter egg for me that randomly, I never noticed it before. I've seen other tiny desk videos, maybe it's always been there, but it caught my eye, and yeah, funny thing to have seen. So yeah, that was pretty much everything I made this year. I think I do have a bunch of projects that I did not finish, like I said at the beginning, and I want to kind of give them an honorific mention because I do plan to finish them at the beginning of next year. It's like my first thing on the list, and I've been working on them, and I know I will finish them. It's just kind of like, this could have been part of 2023, and no, they're not, but they will be part of next year, so that's okay. They're mostly gifts, and since I didn't get to see a lot of my family for around Christmas time this year, I will see them next year early in the spring, so that's when I will gift it to them, so it gives me a little more time to finish them, thankfully. Not that I haven't done this before. I always think I'm gonna finish everything and then start in late November, and of course that's not enough time to knit, but I always think I can knit faster than I can. I don't know if that happens to other people, but it definitely happens to me. Anyway, with not much more preamble, here are some of the projects that are sitting in my knitting project basket right now and that I did not finish. So the first one, and one of the ones that is the closest to being done, is this scarf that I'm knitting actually for my dad. It's a pattern I think I've shown this before. I still haven't finished it. I kind of put it on pause to make other things. But this is a herringbone scarf pattern by Pearl Soho, and I think the yarn is from Patents from Michaels. And yeah, it's like a nice quick little scarf. I mean, not quick because I haven't finished it, but like simple scarf. But I'm getting there. It's getting to be longer. It's starting to actually take shape. Another project that as I started, I knew I wasn't gonna finish, and I didn't plan to. It's actually a summer top, so yeah, there was no urgency. But this is the Qara top by Luna Knit, and as you can see, I think I got as far as making the front panel, the back panel, and then putting them together, but they're not quite, you can't quite see the shape yet. I did get through most, if not all, of the lace work, so I think it's actually quite smooth sailing from here. I just have to finish. So yeah, this one's just on pause for a bit until after the holidays, and then I will finish this one too. The yarn that I'm using is the yarn that I got in Montreal. It's called Emilia and Philomene, and the color work is Camellia. It's like a combination of linen and cotton, I think, so perfect for the summer. Really excited about this one. Can't wait to finish it. And then the pièce of résistance, as one says, is my festive pullover, which this is the one, guys, that I really wanted to finish and clearly did not. I finished the body and I started one of the sleeves, so it's getting there, but I guess I just keep forgetting how much color work takes, I guess. And like I said, my hands have been getting a little crampy after knitting for more than like a couple hours, so I've been taking breaks and probably could have knitted more if I either ignored the pain or didn't have any, but I think I have it in the first place for knitting a lot, so it's like a vicious circle. So I've been trying to take it easy and stretch a lot and take breaks, so that's partly why I didn't finish it. I think it was quite bold of me to think that I could start like on December 2nd or something and then finish it before Christmas. Did not happen, but now I have, or will have, a very beautiful colorwork sweater to wear during the holidays, and I promise you I will wear it in a future video once it's finally done. But I'm getting there, and I wanted to wear it. First I was like, I'll wear it for Christmas, then I was like, I'll wear it for New Year's, and I'm just like, I will wear it when it's done. That's what's gonna happen. So this pattern is by Skinder Knits, and I'm using Wool of the Andes in sport weight, I think, by Knit Picks. Kind of my go-to yarn when I don't know what to use, and pretty good for color work. So that's what I'm using, and yeah, this is a project I am working on right now, and like everyone else is on pause just so I can finish it and hope to show it to you done soon. Other than that, I do have a new design that I'm working on, again with Hobby Yarn. It's gonna come out in the spring. I do have a little bit worked on, but it's not ready to share yet, so I will show it to you when it's in a better shape, I guess. It doesn't have a name yet, but I know it's gonna be a top, so it'll be a nice spring thing to knit, and it's cotton yarn too. So, it's kind of, my mind is half in the spring and half in right now. So it's gonna come. It'll be good. The one other thing that I'm working on is a colorwork vest, which I also wanted to make as a gift for Christmas for my husband. If you've been following me, I try to knit a sweater or a big something to wear, mostly sweaters, for my husband every year. I've been doing that for the past maybe 4 or 5 years. And this was gonna be this year's, and his birthday is in January. He doesn't watch. I feel like by now he's not watching, which is why I can say all of this very, very confident he's not here. He's always surprised, even though I always do this either for Christmas or his birthday, which is in January, late January. So I've knit through a bit of it, and it's kind of a special project this time, so I will make its own video. But it is another colorwork project. So, and this one's with fingering yarn. So Of course I wasn't going to finish it on time, but I will work on finishing it for end of January because I still have a month to go. So that feels more doable. Anyway, I think that's everything. At the beginning I said that this was not as busy of a year, or like not as productive of a year as other years have been. But now that I've gone through every single thing and thought about it, it was pretty productive. I think I worked on a lot of stuff. So that's why I like making these videos, I think, because they help me kind of look back and have a different perspective on all the things that I'm doing every day, that I, finish something and then move on to the next thing and not take a moment to pause and appreciate everything that I can make and that we can make with our own hands, which in the end is pretty wonderful. And I don't know, it's like such a fun, creative hobby to have and rewarding. So I pat myself in the back for having finished both this video and this year. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this end of year video. I have a lot of plans, as always, for next year, and I am trying to be more organized and actually post every Friday. Don't hold me to that, because it's kind of a crazy life, but yeah, I do enjoy making these videos and walking you through all my projects and having discussions and all that stuff. So if you enjoy this and if you enjoy other form of my videos, please subscribe, like, follow, whatever it is that you do now when you watch these videos, because it helps let me know that you're actually enjoying this. I will make another separate video with my plans for the new year, because I have very specific, other than all the stuff that I didn't finish, I have some very specific plans. So look out for that in the next few weeks. And other than that, I hope you have a great end of the year, that you also take a moment to look back at all the wonderful things that you made or that you are going to finish. And happy new year and happy knitting.